Welcome to Exposing the Hidden Reality. I'm Annette, career reinvention coach and caffeine-powered human.
And I'm Sandra, women's life and leadership coach. I bring the woo to our conversations.
And this is the podcast where we call out all the unspoken stuff, biases, outdated expectations, and all the things women navigate in work and in life.
Yes. We bring to light what we see happening. Smart, capable women stuck in the same patterns because no one really talks about what's going on.
We'll bring some difficult truths.
Welcome, insightful experts.
And sprinkle in a little chaos and fun.
It wouldn't be us if we didn't, right?
True.
So whether you're walking the dog or tuning in during your commute, we're glad you're here. Let's do this.
Let's do this. You want to do the let's do this together? Like 3, 2, 1, let's do this. All right, 3, 2, 1. Let's do this. Welcome, Kim. It's so nice to have you.
Thank you for having me. And that is such a cute intro.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate it. It was not rehearsed. I can tell you're shocked by this. Yeah. Well, Kim, we're so excited to have you on and talk about what you do and who you help. Go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience.
Yeah, so I am Kim Roth. I'm a tech and automations expert. I own Allura Connections and also Tech Simple Solutions, which is a high-level agency. We serve service-based small business owners like consultants and home-based or home service businesses, think car collision shops, pest control, cleaning services. And they're usually facing one of two problems. They're letting leads fall through the cracks, or they're spending a lot of time on admin type tasks like sending contracts, following up on payments, all of the boring stuff nobody really wants to do anyways. And so that's what we help them solve. And I absolutely love what we do.
That's amazing.
We absolutely love what you do, Kim. So full disclosure, I met Kim, what was it, Kim, 8 months ago, 9 months ago?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because I was trying to do something in Go High Level, and it was driving me crazy. And I was spending way too much time. And I said, there has got to be an easier way. And I went looking and found Kim. We met on the phone. I told her what I wanted to do. She said, oh my gosh, that's so easy to do. I can do that for you. And I've never let her go since. She's a gem. She gave me not only did she do what I asked her to do, but she gave me documentation. I was like, wow. She gave me documentation and she taught me how to maintain it myself. Like this little piece of automation I had asked her to do. I'm like, whoa, I don't want to maintain it myself, but whoa, this is awesome. So now she's like my BFF. It's helping me out all the time. And I think that brings a question that I would love for you to answer, Kim. And that is, I think that when we have a skill, we think it's going to be easy. And so we tackle that skill as an entrepreneur. And then we realize, oh, this is so much more than I thought it was going to be.
Yep. I see it all the time, especially in entrepreneurs. Because I think we start our business wearing all of the hats. A lot of times because we have no choice, right? There's no budget to bring somebody else in. And then it becomes where the hats are a lot to wear. And especially when you look at tech, there is so much happening so fast that to keep up with it is a full-time business. And so just reaching out to somebody for help for those projects can just totally change your world very quickly. And you get the return back in time and money that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, a lot of clients, especially women clients, come to me and they've tried to do it,
Mhm.
feeling that they should be able to. Like that was the key thing. I've talked to, many people and they're like, I thought for sure I could do this and that I was supposed to do it all my own. Like, oh, you don't have to do all of this on your own. There's a lot of us that will help. And I'm a firm believer in giving you what you need in order for you to maintain it going forward, if you so choose. I love to stay connected with my clients, but I also want you to have the freedom that you know how it works. You can go look at it. You can tweak it on your own. So that's a firm belief of mine.
Yeah.
I think it's so important because there's a peace of mind in knowing you don't have to do it alone, but that if you needed to, that you could do
Mhm.
it. And that's always what's helpful to me is I may not do it myself right now, or I have some assistants doing it, but I could. I could
Yeah.
get in there and I could do it myself and I can figure it out and I can troubleshoot. And I think there's a confidence
Mhm.
that comes from that. And you said kind of a key phrase that Sandra and I talk about all the time. Most women think they should. Oh gosh, those words are everywhere. So why do you think that that happens? And in your experience, when you work with women clients, how do you help them change their mindset from I should
Mhm.
to something else?
Yeah. Um, Well, I mean, I'm not sure. Like, so I'm just to say from like my personal standpoint with being a mom and a wife and a daughter that uh I guess I've always felt like it's my responsibility. I should be able to figure it out. Whatever it is, like I should be able to figure it out and to help. And I think that's a key thing too. We all want to help each other, our family. And so when somebody comes to us with a problem, we're like, yeah, we can do that. We can fix it. And I know a while back, like I fell into this hole of saying yes to everything. And then getting to the point where I remember somebody asked me like be treasurer for the prom committee or something because my son was a senior or whatever. I guess that'd be junior year, sophomore year, whenever they were picking out the prom committee. And I'm like, why do you think I would be good? And they're like, well, you're good with numbers. I'm like, how do you know? Like, I just go, no. I go, I'll help. I said, I do not want to be treasurer. Like, no. And so, but it took me like a lot of courage that I had to find to be able to say, no, I'm not comfortable with that role. And so, yeah, I think I don't know. I don't think we get in the habit of just always saying yes.
And I think we're not encouraged to set boundaries, which is exactly what you were doing, right? We're not taught that when we say no, or sorry, that when we say yes, what we're really doing is saying no to something else. And that something else is something we want or need, as opposed to saying no to what somebody else wants us to do or be. And yeah, we don't honor each other's no's enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if we can even say them. So it sounds like part of what you do when you're working with someone that has a problem is you give them permission to say, I'm going to hand this off, fix it, make me more efficient. And then you say, I've done it for you. Here it is. And if you need to correct this issue for yourself going forward,
Yeah.
here's the place you can, but I'm not going anywhere. You can always count on me.
Yep, that's exactly it. Like I know you have better things to do. I mean, I struggled a lot with being like I like the tech. I like the behind the scenes stuff. And then I always felt like it was less worthy, that, it wasn't important because it was the behind the scenes things. And then I finally had a client say, what are you saying? And they're like, what you do for me lets me do what I do best. Like I can come and, coach my people and go consult and do all of this. because I have the confidence that my back end is working. So, and I was just like, you know what? That is like the nicest thing anybody has ever said to me. It was just a huge, where I was like, oh, where I'm like, I am important. Like I do provide that support so somebody else can go do their greatness. Because we're not all like meant to be on the, like, I'm not meant to be a coach. I know I'm not meant to be a coach. But there are a ton of amazing coaches and consultants out there that do such great work, but they need help with their tech.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that I love about what you said is we're in the background. And we don't realize, and what you're pointing out is we have a tendency to think because we're not visible that we're also to equate personal value or personal worth to that, because it's not visible. So I'm thinking about the fact that both you and I grew up in IT. That was our corporate careers, and that we were both on the back end systems side, right? Yeah. And there's a sense that, it's so hard to get funding. People don't realize what goes into those back end systems until they break.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody's like, hair's on fire. There's a reason my hair is gray. And everybody's hair is on fire. We're not sleeping, right? We're stressed. And then when you try to present proposals to fix this permanently, it's a lot of money for things that people don't see, so they don't put worth around it.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yep.
So I think it's so insightful for you to have a client that stood up and said, you know what? No, what you do for me is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Think about not having indoor plumbing. Think about not having, right, hot water. Think about having to boil that hot water, right? Like it's, yeah.
And I think that's something as women that we should do more often is like really, like shine the lights on each other's strengths and take advantage of that, because it's not bad to be able to say, you know what, I'm not an expert at that. But Sandra is, or no, you need to go see Annette, like, and just being able to be like, they're the ones that are great at this. This is who you need to talk to. That it's just, being supportive and sharing ideas and sharing, knowledge, and just, it takes a village. We need to all lift each other up.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. I love that. And I've known some people that don't subscribe to that. So how do you think what you did in your first, assuming corporate career, now working for yourselves, what was that process that made you realize that it takes a village and I have to build that village so I will have it when I need it?
Mm-hmm. So I was very fortunate. I feel like I grew up in this company. I had a very good boss where, he's a very good boss. One thing he taught me that I sometimes wish he hadn't taught me was he's like, you always say yes. I was like, after a while, I was like, we don't always say yes. We can say no to some of this. But he taught me like to just, share knowledge. He would refer people over to me, and with him, being the boss and being there for many years longer than what I had, he would be like, no, you need to go see her. She can help you. And so, so it was like just being able to recognize strengths and taking advantage of them at that time. And then I've always been somebody where if somebody else helped me, I don't take credit for that. I'm always like, hey, John helped me figure that out. And so that it was just a matter of just sharing that, because I think everybody's strengths should be known, and, and they should be able to share those, and they should be able to get credit for that.
Yeah.
How do you think being a woman now in your own business, how do you think that helps you do things better?
Ooh.
I told you I saved all the tough questions.
You do save the tough questions. Um, so this kind of reminds me, I think as women, we just, and I don't like the word multitask, but we just tend to be able to get things done.
Mm.
And it kind of reminds me of a story my grandma had told me once, because grandpa would complain because she always had so many projects. And she was always doing so many things at one time. He's like, why can't you just do one thing at a time and get it done? And he's like, what are you doing? And so the one night for supper, she made the meat, served the meat. Then she made the potatoes, served the potatoes. And after that, he didn't complain about her projects. So he's like, okay, you win.
I love that.
She always had a very creative way of getting her idea across. And I think, and that's something that as women, we tend to just do. Like, what can I squeeze in here in these 10 minutes while I'm waiting for the potatoes to boil? I might as well start the dishes, or I'll, fold laundry. I mean, we're always constantly looking for the next thing to do.
And, I think one of the things that I have witnessed you bring to the table as a woman is what you're asking me would be helpful, but let me show you how it could be even better. Mm-hmm. And if you don't want it, that's fine. But if you do want it, right, it's no big deal for me to put this in for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think that one of the things that you personally show me all the time whenever we're talking is not just, you're always thinking about how can I take this further to help you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm always looking for ways to make things easier. And a lot of clients, you included, like, you'll come to me with a problem and a partial solution. Like, will this work? This is my idea. And I can see, I'm like, well, what if we did it this way? Would this make it easier? And then, you're like, yeah, that would make it easier. And so, because I want everybody to be self-sufficient, that you're able to keep your things going, able for it to run smoothly. I mean, I personally hate searching for things, or, going back to something and then wondering how it was put together or why it was set up this way. And so just by sharing that information, makes it easier going forward.
I feel so called out. And the reason I feel so called out is because I built something, and all Annette's been doing is like, why did this happen? And why did that happen? And did you notice? Here's another problem. And I'm like, I don't even remember how I built this.
Or why I did it that way. I mean,
I'm
like, why did I do it that way?
And I feel like I'm asking her 365 questions every minute of every day. Like, where do I find this? How does this happen? So no, please, no, it's not an indictment of you. I'm just like, how does this work? This is new to me.
Yep.
But I love that what you're talking about, Kim, is bringing options right to the table, saying, hey, these are some things that you could consider or think about. So really a very collaborative relationship. And how do you balance collaboration with competition? I don't know if that comes up for you as an entrepreneur.
Oh, I felt that deeply.
I guess I personally don't tend to worry about competition. I remember when I first got in this business, where people were talking about, sharing SOPs and sharing how they do things with their clients, because if I do that, then they'll do it themselves. They'll let me go. And I was always like, but you're doing the work for them. It's theirs. Like, I feel like you paid me to do it. It's yours. You should know how it works. And so that's how I've always taken each project, and I don't worry so much about that. I know I'm not an expert in everything, so they are going to go find somebody else that solves a specific problem for them. But I guess I don't worry too much about them, replacing me because or deciding they don't need me anymore because I gave them too much information.
How dare you?
How dare I give them too much stuff?
Okay, I'm going to go there. I feel that what you're describing is a lot like parenthood, right? Because in a sense, you're saying, here's some information. I want you to be self-sufficient.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you to keep coming back to me to keep asking me about how to do the laundry. I want you to learn how to do the laundry.
Yes.
I want to have better conversations with you. I want to talk about bigger problems. I want to talk about how we can collaborate on more expansive projects. Just like when my kids come to me, I want to have deeper conversations. I don't want to have the same conversation about how to wash the dishes.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah. And I'm wondering, when a lot of people, myself, I'm putting myself out here. I started entrepreneurship because I wanted to be able to have more flexibility around my time, to be able to do the things that I wanted to do for my children, to be available for my children, in a way that maybe corporate life didn't allow me to do. And then I found out what it was like to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I'm wondering what your experience was, what prompted you to be an entrepreneur, and what your surprises have been.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like I left my 9 to 5 in order to work 24/7 for myself.
Yes. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Yep. So I never thought I would be an entrepreneur.
Right.
The company I was working at, I enjoyed working at that company. I enjoyed working with the coworkers that were there. They went through a lot of changes. They got sold. Senior management was different. Everybody was retiring. Not everybody, but a lot of people were retiring. And it just changed where I was like, I don't love this anymore. And my kids were getting older. They were in high school. And I just felt like I needed something different. And I actually hired a career coach because I was like, what do I want to do? And, they had me go through the whole, look at what's out there, what I enjoy doing. And I ended up being like, what's this virtual assistant thing?
Yeah.
And I went in and I talked to one of the VPs there about it. And I was like, I think I want to be a virtual assistant. He's like, what is that? And so that was the seed that was kind of planted then. Mm-hmm. And then I had to do the research to see what is it to actually start your own business? I mean, my parents both had jobs. I didn't have entrepreneurs in my immediate family. Even friend wise, everybody had a job. Yeah. And so working up the nerve to tell my husband that I wanted to start my own business, that was a lot. And I remember him just looking at me being like, you're gonna what? Like, why don't you just go get another job? And I'm like, but if I go get another job in IT, it's the same thing. I go, it's gonna be the same problems, the same environment, the same stuff that I'm dealing with now. It's just gonna be a different company. And I go, I just don't want to do it anymore. And so fortunately, he has a job where we have insurance. He has a stable job. And so in some ways it made that decision easier for me to be able to do that because he has the stability. And the company that I worked for, they actually worked with me to let me do 3 days. Like I worked for them. I became a part-time employee. So I did 3 days working for them, 2 days on my business. They were great. And I've talked to other people who felt like they're stuck in corporate, and I'm like, go talk to your boss. I said, you never know what they're going to say. They might be willing to work with you, move you down to a part-time status, let you slowly exit out. And I was very fortunate that they let me do that. Yeah. I don't have no idea if I answered your question or not.
You did. What timing was that? When did you finally step away from your corporate role full time and into being
So I still have a foot in there. I still do some consulting for them. I believe it'll be done the end of the year, but I've said that a couple times.
They just love you, Kim. They're holding on to you.
Yeah. And so, yeah. But I first stepped down in 2019, I think.
Okay.
Where we started down this path. I was a contract employee with them during COVID. And so that was a little scary because that was just, you never knew what was going to happen during that time period. But yeah, so it's been a while.
Yeah. And I think that like late 2017, 2018, 2019, that mindset of you could explore that like gig economy kind of mindset came to be more prevalent, and people were exploring things, and then it wasn't so weird. And then the pandemic hit and we're all like, oh yeah, we're working from home, we're doing things, we're learning things that weren't possible when we were all in the same corporate rat race.
Yeah. I mean, out of COVID, if you could say anything good happened, I think it's that everybody kind of got used to people working from home and hopping on Zoom to have conversations and meetings and that. So it's made it made the world a lot smaller because no matter who you talk to, they're like, oh yeah, I can hop on Zoom because they've all been on it at some point.
I know. I was talking to someone a couple weeks ago, and I didn't know if they had this experience. Maybe you have, but remember when you had to sign out or reserve the conference call bridge? Like we had separate calendars for the conference call bridge because it was too expensive for everybody to have one of their own. And now we all have, free options, and it's such a different place. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
One of the things that I noticed about myself that really shifted during the pandemic, because I wasn't, I had been out of my corporate role for 4.5 years by that point, right? So one of the things that I noticed was we were having so many conference calls that it felt weird to just pick up the phone and have a voice call with somebody.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So my friend Diane, right? She and I would talk every Sunday, and it was like, okay, you know what? I can't do this on the voice anymore. We need to jump on Zoom.
Yeah. Yep. I've had a couple connections that I've met, and they're like, just call me. I'm like, just call you. I'm not calling you.
It feels weird. I'm going to text you or I'm going to Zoom you. Like, really, that's it. Those are the two options. Call, let's call.
I'm calling you.
Right. There's like 3 people I talk to on the phone, right? Everybody else, it's usually a Zoom or it's a text. And I love that we can do that now. But I do love the feedback you get from a video call because you can see someone there. You can, I don't know, it feels like a real, as close to real life check-in as you can get.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the strange part with being in so I'll still have meetings in corporate.
Yeah.
And they'll get on Teams and nobody's cameras on. I'm like, this is the weirdest thing ever. Like, don't you guys want to see each other?
So interesting.
There is, when I'm on corporate calls, if I have a corporate client, yes, a lot of the cameras are off. And so when I'm on camera, then slowly I see like one person turns their camera on, another person does. Almost peer pressure to be on camera.
Yeah.
And I always say it's fine if you don't want to be on camera, but I want you to see me talking to you. Yeah. You decide if you want me to see you.
Yeah.
Interesting. So where do you think we're going now that essentially the pandemic's over? A lot of companies are having return to office mandates. What are you seeing in your business, in your industry happening to other businesses? And what do you see as the new trend?
Yeah. I think a lot of companies are flexible.
Mm.
They want their people in. I think they're all ready to have all of their people back in the office.
Yeah.
And there's a huge benefit to that because the ideas and the brainstorming that happens when you're in person in an office like that, I don't think you can replace that so much. I think it's harder to replace, I guess, in Zoom because you have to schedule. Like you have to schedule that meeting. You just can't go knock on somebody's office door and say, "Hey, I have an idea." Like you have to schedule it more. But they're also flexible because I've seen it there. I've seen it working with other clients where depending on your job, if you have a day where you want to work from home, it seems more acceptable now, where before it wasn't at all. But now it's kind of like, oh, like you need to take your mom to the doctor in the morning and you just want to work from home in the afternoon. No big deal, or your kids or whoever. And so we've become more flexible and more willing to work with each other. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a benefit.
It's a huge benefit. Especially for parents with young kids. Like it's such a huge benefit to just be like, hey, my kid's sick. Can I just work from home today? And having that flexibility.
Yeah. And Kim, you've talked a little bit about caregiving. You've talked about being a mom a little bit. Are you also caring for parents or older adults that you're related to?
Yeah. So my kids are grown. They're all out of the house the majority of the time. I have one that's a pilot. And so he's like 10 days on, 5 days off. And so his 5 days off, he's home. And then my mom's getting older. So she's got doctor's appointments and stuff coming up now. And yeah, like the flexibility I have with having my own business and being able, like when she calls, whatever she needs, as long as it's not last minute.
Right. But you have the flexibility should you really need to like notify whoever you're working with, like, hey, I'll get back to you.
I have to go. Yeah, it's an emergency. But when she schedules appointments, she gives me plenty of notice and I just block my calendar off. And it's been so much easier to just be able to go help her versus, when you are working for somebody, it's like, hey, can I have Friday morning off to take my mom? Like, it's that asking for permission that I don't really have to do anymore.
That makes sense. Perfect sense.
Yeah. One of the things that Annette and I talk about often is that women end up in that caretaking role. And that it's not just children. It's elderly parents. It's sick relatives. It's in-laws. It's family members that we care about or friends that we care about that are like family. And, we're the ones who pick up that slack often.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. And to have the flexibility is amazing. And to be able to generate that flexibility yourself with your own ideas and your own hard work is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a definite benefit. That's for sure.
And what's something we haven't talked about or explored, and it just occurred to me as I was voicing that caregiving role, is that, work is energy. Taking care of others is energy, right? Being in a job, we have to fulfill all of the aspects of that job. And maybe we like 80% of that job and 20% we don't, right? But we don't have a choice about doing that 20%. We have to get it done. I think one of the really cool things about being an entrepreneur is, yes, we do wear a lot of hats. Yes, we go to work 7/24 because you can never put it down, right?
Mhm.
We are doing so many things, but we also have choices around, I really don't like this 90% or this 60% of the role. Let me call Kim. She loves to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of like, my friends that I have built relationships for, where they do their own set of skills that they have. And, it's even with us, like a lot of times we'll just barter. Like they're like, I don't want to do
Yes.
this. And I'm like, great, because I don't want to do that. Do you want to, barter a deal? And taking advantage of, again, somebody else's strengths to get that project, out of our head and out there into the world.
Yeah. So huge.
Mm-hmm.
What's one thing that you've learned as an entrepreneur you wish you'd learned earlier?
Oh boy.
Where does she start?
Yeah.
I know, right?
And say ask for help sooner. Don't think that you can do it all yourself.
Mhm.
So I struggled with that for a long time. Finding a coach was huge for me. Learning more about myself through like human design that like Sandra teaches was huge because that you're like, oh, that's why I like to do that, where things start to make sense. And then instead of, beating yourself down for some of the stuff that you're not good at, realize, oh, I'm not supposed to be good at that over there. This is really where my light shines. And so, being open to ask for help, being open to learn more about yourself and how you're made. Yeah, I should have done both way sooner. Way sooner.
Yeah. And I love that you found the flexibility to do that along your entrepreneurship journey, because I had always participated in like personal development activities,
Mhm.
reading or going to training. But I agree, entrepreneurship helps you look inward and say, what's the right thing for me to do?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I had never really done personal development. I mean, that was
Mhm.
brand new when I was like, do what? Read what? And then I think it was last year or 2 years ago, my daughter was, will you read something else besides business books? Will you read for fun again? Because I would always read for fun. And there was this time period where I wasn't. I was just, reading all of the business books that I could get my hands on. And then I started reading for fun again. And I was like, wow, like there's a lot of correlation here too, especially like finding a book with a strong woman character inside of it. And you just kind of, you're like, like I could do that.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
And it sparks the creativity too. Like it shouldn't be all work. That's for sure.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's such that I love that. I had my own experience with my kids say the same thing to me. So yes.
Yeah.
We don't want to listen to accounting, Mom.
Nobody,
why.
they're right. I mean, Sandra,
I
they're
don't
right
know
about
why. It
that.
was
I
very
mean,
interesting. Come on, debits, credits. It makes a lot of sense.
yes. Uh-huh.
It's like you're going to need this someday.
Right. Exactly. What do you mean you don't want to learn about T accounts? Come on.
It'll give you a heads up when you take accounting in high school.
Right.
Yeah. So cool. Kim, how do people get a hold of you if they're interested in talking to you about their tech needs?
So my website is alluraconnections.com. You can get on my email list. I have the ultimate automation playbook there where I really talk about 3 automations that I believe everybody should have, which is a calendar automation, some sort of lead gen automation, and then just an easy no-brainer offer that somebody can purchase from you and check out. And letting all of the pieces in the back end flow for you. So like that very first step that you want somebody to work with you, make it easy on them and you. So I talk about all three of those in that playbook. It's a great resource.
And you're going to be launching your own regular conversation channel, yes?
Yes. So I have, I have a YouTube channel. So just started that. So there's a YouTube channel called Tech Simple with Kim. And then I also host monthly Tech Talk Tuesdays, where people can come to me with their questions. They can learn more about high level. But they can come to me with questions outside of high level too. And I can give them different ideas. Just like Sandra said before, coming and saying, hey, I have this idea. How would it work? And just being able to give the feedback as to how they could do it, no matter what software you use.
That's awesome.
Because sometimes it's working out the concept, right? And then you can figure out how to make it happen with whatever tool you subscribe to.
Yeah. I mean, what I love to do is tell people, you can do that. You could, do that in ClickFunnels, and then you set up the automation over here at ActiveCampaign, and then you get Zapier and you do all this. And they're like, that sounds like a lot of work. I'm like, yeah, it is. I said, you do it all right there in high level. You don't need all of that. That's my favorite conversation.
Smart.
But
yeah, perfect. Well, Kim, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate learning more about you, and I love your concepts on building a community and getting what you need with all the wonderful people that you surround yourself with.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
We're looking forward to seeing you next week, IRL.
Yes. I can't wait.
Maybe we should extend that invitation. So all of our Northeast Ohio people, we have a big event for our Working Women Connection networking group. We're meeting next Wednesday at the Brecksville, Cuyahoga County Public Library. We'll be there at 9:15 in the morning. It's a networking event. We have some wonderful guest speakers talking about what it's like to lead like a woman. We'd love to invite you. So I'll go ahead and put that in the chat for everybody, and then you can register. It's completely free and join us.
Yeah. All three of us. You can meet us.
And more. Yeah.
And more.
And if we're in Northwest Ohio, it's not that far. I'm about the furthest Northwest you can get. So
if Kim can make it, you can make it.
Right.
Come see us.
Very excited. So good to see you. Thank you for chatting with us.
Yeah.
That's a wrap on this episode of Exposing the Hidden Reality. If something hit home or made you snort laugh, tell us.
Seriously, we love hearing from you. Message us, tag us, or send us coffee. We love coffee.
And hey, leave a review. It helps more women find us and boosts our egos.
Which are like fragile, like suspiciously fragile.
True. All right, until next time, keep questioning, keep growing, and if all else fails,
blame the dog.
See you next time. Wait, did we stop recording?
No, we're still here. You have to push the red button.
Red button. Cool. Just eternal podcast.
Bye.
Bye.